All right, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors and salutations to you, Akim, out there that's laboring in the truth and sincerity without wavering. And this is gonna be through the spirit a quick hit, and then we're gonna call it people about to flip the fuck out, or people about to flip out over this whole Venus flytrap injections that they pushing, you know. And as you see here, it's an article from RT News. It says Democrat Boston mayor invokes slavery to oppose Venus flytrap passports. Okay, because they basically, as we keep bringing out, everybody see what they're doing. The squeeze is on, and pretty much this. Well, you know what? The brother Karaba Muff from the main camp, he has sent me this article. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on one second. Okay, so now I got it. Actually, I'm gonna read this first before I go into that other article. And of course, I'm gonna hit the scriptures. But again, showing you that what's happening, and this is part of the plan. All right, and this is this proof. We've been saying it, but this come from the Brighton, right, pro-liberty video community. It said the coming Delta lockdown is designed to invoke nationwide protests. And here's why. And this is, their breakdown of what's going on. And like I said, I did a video, the Spirit got on me to do a video last night, that they know it's blatant. Like, they're not hiding it. You know what they're doing. And some people that are teeny bit of woke or whatever, they see the bullshit, but they don't see the truth. They don't see, they still stuck in that Babylonian mentality, and they're going to end up folding like a deck of cards. They're going to give into this. But they know that there are people and a lot of like Edomites that are going to protest this thing hardcore, and even people that are within the Congress, within the government, as we're seeing in the RT article we're going to go back to. So it says within the next 12 days, multiple sources have told us the pretend. Seeing Esau, Esau get, like, you got Alex Jones, he's informative on, even though he's a nut job, and I believe he's an insider, all right? He's an insider, or he's connected to the insiders, but, he's an Edomite. I think he wants to be an Edomite, let him be an Edomite. But him and other of these so-called right-wing or patriot, they got more access to different things. They could get away with saying certain things that we can't, even though that's changing too. Esau's about to shadow ban everybody, because, that's what these devils, they don't give a damn. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, tells you that the spirit that's lifted up in them is not upright. So he don't give a damn about his own kind. But anyway, this is the information they got, right? So, Salakia. I don't know what I just did, but here we go. So it said the coming Delta lockdown is designed to invoke nationwide protests, and here's why. Within the next 12 days, multiple sources have told us the pretender-in-chief, Joe Biden, will announce a nationwide lockdown, fraudulently blaming the Delta variant and anti-waxers for the overzealous action. And that's why they're on a hunt. Basically, if you speak against it, they're erasing any existence. That's what they've been doing. They've been, because why? Because everything is about to go digital, and that's why they want to do it. Because, and I keep bringing up that one movie, Fahrenheit. Damn, I forget what it was, but it had Michael B. Jordan in it, and the dude that played the Iceman, or the dude that played General Zod. I can't remember the dude's name, but they're in that movie, and in that movie they show you that basically it becomes a crime to have books, all right? Which the main book is what? The Bible, okay? And in that movie they showed you that the book, well, if you got caught with those books, you were arrested, and they gave you a chance to basically comply, where they erase your mind, erase your memory of books. And books was outlawed, basically, because why? That's is record. It's down in records. If you got something that's written in records, like we have the Bible, that's how we're able to read out of the scriptures. That's why we know about the truth and the prophecies and everything. So that's why they're outlawing it. But in the movie, and they showed you about a different, it was a book that they had showing you about slavery and everything. Because why? Esau being the devil, in order for him to, establish his wicked utopia or whatever, it's society this new world order, they got to erase all they wickedness. They got to clean their tracks. 'Cause at one point, you go back 20 years ago, everybody knew about slavery. There was no questions. But now slavery is being questioned, all right, to the point where they saying that it doesn't exist, that it's immigration, that they migrated and these things. So in that movie, they showed you, and it was a librarian, and she's basically, she said, no, I'm not giving up my books. And they lined her up with all the books, and they just set her on fire. And she was like, she was kind of prophesying to them and everything. But that's what the movie was. The movie was kind of deep, man. I'm surprised I didn't even know that it came out in the movie theater, but I watched it like once or twice. That's a good watch if brothers haven't watched it. But they show you. So now, again, they're not hiding these things. You see, and they're going to use the fact that because people are speaking on it like, wait a minute, that's bogus, man. That's why these other countries, that's why they assassinated the president of Haiti. And it's to the point, like you have a lot of these naturopathic doctors or holistic doctors where their lives are in danger because they've been killing and getting rid of mostly anybody that practice natural medicine. So that way they don't have no opposing force. So that way they could just lay out like a red carpet. They could just lay out their whole program of making everybody get jabbed up and then eventually bringing in the Bismarcky. I was about to say it. Which, hey, if I say it, they do what they got to do, man. But anyway, so this is what they planning, right? For overzealous actions, right? It said a new lockdown will be perceived as so overreaching and totalitarian and that's why even you got Dr. Fauci saying that this thing is going to be worse. And we've been telling y'all that, all right? Ecclesiastes 12:10, it said, never trust thine enemy. This devil is never going to be honest or nice to you, and that's why people get tripped up, especially Jake, the 2/3. But guess what? They're given to the sword anyway. All right, they're part of the 2/3, which 2/3 represent, when you break it into a percentage, is what? 66.6%, which we know that's synonymous with the number of the mark of the beast, or the devil, in Revelations. So meaning 2/3 of our people are already sold into Satan. The Most High already know who is and who's not. All right, but it says the new lockdown will be perceived as so overreaching and totalitarian that nationwide protests will soon commence. And you got a lot of countries that are fighting, because basically they all went with it at first, and because why? Most of these countries have puppet leaders, that are in these countries. They're influenced by NATO, which is ran by the United States of America. All right, the head of the beast. So they influence these other nations because, through that sword. All right. That's why the eagle holds what? They hold the arrows in one hand and they have the olive branch in the other way. All right. Accept their peace treaty, which is bullshit, or else you're going to die. Get ready for war. And that's why I tell you in Psalm, matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to come back to this, but let me hit the scriptures, because scriptures are pouring in my mind right now. This is one of the main ones. It's 55 and 19. Right? Right. This is Psalms 55 and 19. It says, the Most High shall hear and afflict them. And that's our only hope. The believing brothers that sincerely believe in this truth, that's really, waiting on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, our only hope is the Most High sending Yahweh Shai. And it said the Lord is going to hear. He hear our prayers. All right. And afflict them, meaning he's going to afflict these devils. Even he that abideth of old, that's speaking about Selah. Because they have no changes, and these devils haven't changed, and this is part of their agenda. They have to end. This is a plan, and when you do research on Illuminati going back, they argue the different dates, but 1776, which you go back further to you go back to the Greco-Roman Empire, but that when a deadly wound was healed in the Renaissance era, the 1400s, when they started, taking back, repopulating the world again. All right, at that point. They still, from that point on, even going back going back during the Greek Empire, they did the same thing. All right, First Maccabees, the first chapter tells you about how they imposed Jake to follow, basically to commit wickedness and stop worshiping the Sabbath. You worship the Sabbath, you was put to death. If you wouldn't eat pork, you was put to death. They did, so it said that they have no change. This devil is still the same, man. That's why I said trust not thine enemy. But people, for whatever, because they under that, Babylonian spell, that witchcraft spell, They think that things are different, but it's not. The Lord said, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. And clearly they don't. When we go back to the other article, they keep pumping up this science, 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 science. All right, and you know what the scriptures say about the white man's science. It said he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. And everybody forgot about what they did to the Native American Indians, man. Not too many people talk about it. They keep that on the hush. Just like they're doing with slavery. They're trying to make these things disappear. So that way they don't have these things haunt. Because that does always come back and it haunts them. And when you bring, even back, from the early or the mid 90s, when you bring out that point about slavery, then that's the motherfuckers had to fall back then. So they want to erase the history and the evidence of all the atrocities that they committed so they could act as if they, the innocent or whatever, and then keep pointing the finger and judging everybody else. So that's why I said the Most High is going to afflict them. He's going to stop them. But it says, he have broken his covenant, you see? And all these people that were sitting there signing up, that's sitting there pushing people to get jabbed up, that got jabbed up, they're going to find out that, damn, this motherfucker set them up, man. They're going to find out that they still, because, you got everybody talking about what they're going to do, this and that. Well, if they push this nationwide shutdown, if they keep saying that the variant is increasing and the numbers are going up, ain't nobody doing that. It don't matter how many fucking shots you got up in you, man. So a lot of you people that took the shots, y'all gonna be feeling stupid. Then y'all gonna get mad, and then other people that are dying, the ones that didn't die, because a lot of people would die but got jacked up, they're gonna be messed up, and then you have more people protesting against it. You see, the truth always rises to the surface, man. All right, what they got in there is some wicked stuff. It's a whole, and I believe it's a prelude to the Bismarcky. But anyway, it says the words of his mouth was smoother than butter. And that's why, who was it, de Blasio and them said, they said, look, man, we try to be nice and offer you this and that, but enough is enough, man. That's now they pushing the mandates. They're pushing the mandates, and the mandates are going to affect Jake, our people. All right, it said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Because that's what these devils are all about, man. That's why people are dying, because they want people to die. All right, and we read in this article showing you that this is what their intent is, man. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So in this article, right, it says what? The new lockdown will be perceived as so overreaching and totalitarian that nationwide protests will soon commence. And not to forget about the what they call it, the eviction moratorium that's still hanging over, which they still haven't really got no real solution to. They just keep putting little band-aids on it. That's just making things worse. And that's another issue, which they're going to use to force people into these things. All right. So now it says, this is actually all part of the plan. And see, and I refer to it a lot, because I remember from back, like I said, the Spirit had Apostle Tahar going into a lot of like this New World Order stuff back in, I could go remember far back, I think it was 94, 95, even Yeshaya, which, I mean, now we know how he was the first Alex Jones, because Yeshaya used to have all these videotapes and stuff too. I mean, Pastor Tar would get them, but Yeshaya would get them, have them too. I remember Yeshaya have something, but he'll try to capitalize. He'd be selling the damn videotape for like $50 or whatever he was selling it for, to all the men. Pastor Tar would just sit there and bring it and just pop it in and watch and break it down to us. So this is back then. I remember these things, man. And the book, the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, which is now they sit there and they shit all over that book. Now they did a remix to it after all these years and talk about it as a hoax, because basically it speaks about the dominance of the big nose people who are running these things. The Rothschild, Rockefellers, these fake the fake Israelites, all right, that people that they basically walking around with our identity. And what they wrote different planks and stuff, a different set, which is an agenda. And that's how this devil always try to calculate everything or whatever. But they're the ones that, and that's pursuant to, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I gotta go to Psalms again. Psalms the 50, is it 58? Psalms 58 and 1. Because if you see the Rothschilds and stuff, you see them speaking about the market and everything. They appear to be so Like they're so holy, like old, old nice guy or whatever. But which really they're a bunch of damn wicked Ebenezer Scrooge motherfucker. Ebenezer Scrooge was representative of the bankers, man. What was that duck, that rich duck? Scrooge McDuck, I think, yeah, Scrooge. That all represented bankers, man. All right. But anyway, Psalms 58 and 1. It says, "Do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation?" And hell no, they're speaking about the devil, Esau, the so-called white man. "Do you judge uprightly?" You should know the answer to that by now. You see what they're doing? They're forcing people to do things against their own will. They're sitting there destroying your kids. They're making you poison your kids. They poison in their mind. They poison with predictive programming, the cartoons and the toys and the school system that they're setting up. To where really, if you're smart, if you're able to, keep your children out of the school system or the food system, right? It says, "Yea, in heart you work wickedness," and this is in their mind. So we're reading the wickedness that these devils been working, man. It says, "Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth." So the international bankers. So that's why they got a problem with what was it, Henry Ford? He wrote the book exposing them. So they did this what do you call it? Cleanup or whatever, if you will. So now you got people who talk about, oh, you got to fact check that. How we know? All right, well, you believe what you want to believe, man. You can believe whatever the hell you want to believe. But at the end of the day, we read the book and it's true. Because the book goes into these big nose people's agenda, how they plan on destroying and killing people and setting people up, for to maintain their dominance, to go roll into their new world order, which they're doing it. We're watching it. So it says, "Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth." Going back to World War I and II, those are all set up by the bankers, man. And that information, now at one time these things weren't known, but now they're known. So the thing is, in that the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, if you're able to find it, that was one of the last stages, of them not hiding it no more, exposure, because they believe that they got the minds of the people. So now that's why they're doing this, and people are catching on to it, but they want the drama. So that's going to justify them, making their moves. They got tons of concentration camps, empty jails, all right, empty buildings that could be used as detention centers, man. You don't think they're going to use them? You out of your goddamn mind, all right? All the fun and games is going to be over, man. The bread and circus, it really ain't. It's never been the same in a long while. But what's left of it is going to be gone too. That's why Ecclesiastes in 12 said, "Remember thy creator." And see, that's where a lot of these people are going to be fucked up, because they didn't remember their creator. All right, let me get that real quick in the book of Ecclesiastes. And this is just, of course, off the top, how the Spirit come to us or whatever. Spirit just hit me to do this, so I'm just doing it. Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. "Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth." So that's why the real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Latinos, those of Negroid and Indian descent throughout the four corners of the earth, that are of Negro and Indian descent, you're supposed to be in this truth, man. You ain't supposed to be sitting there seeking a career or trying to advance your life in this society, because this society is breaking apart. So here it is. You got a lot of people talking about their children and sending them to colleges and wanting them to be the best that they could be and generational wealth. That's bullshit. That's still a farce, man. That's that fake American dream, man. And the devil that make you think you're so close to achieving it because you might be doing better. You got more privileges than the average, but still at the end of the day, it's all going to fall apart. Because why? The Heavenly Father is not with this place. Micah 2:10 said this is not our rest. We weren't brought here in slavery to try to come and duplicate what the white man's doing, or to try to come and rise and establish ourselves here. The scriptures tell you that this place is filthy. It ain't we got to make the best. No, it ain't. Look, man, you got to you still got to work or whatever, but you're not, the scriptures say love not the world, man. All right. "Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." Letting you know about the time that we're coming in now, just like what we're reading in this article. All right. So it said this is actually all part of the plan. The lockdown push is being engineered. All right. Which, if you can't see that by now, then you deserve everything that come your way, man. You really for you to die would be a blessing for you, because you're only gonna do yourself a further disservice, man. Right? But it says to invoke a backlash. All right, just like when they had all the protesting, there wasn't enough people, so they got the agent provocateurs. They paid, all these mutated monsters, these gremlin, these monster niggas on the corner, gave them some money to go riot and raise hell. Right? Slakia. I'm on my Malcolm shit. I'm sipping some tea right now. Slakia. But it says, engineered to invoke a backlash even among leftists who will join conservatives and take into the streets to protest the medical tyranny. And that's what it is, man. All right, they sitting there telling, that's because why? They want to centralize everything underneath the international bankers, man. The elites. All right? They're telling private companies, look, refuse service, this, that, and the third. Because why? They're taking over every goddamn thing, just like they show you in these different movies, man. It says during the backlash, the corrupt Biden regime will roll out false flag events, right? They're going to sit there and keep that they be doing these shootings and, that's just people, what they said, Bible groups planning on. Come on, if you're reading the Bible, we ain't thinking about doing nothing but reading the Bible and speaking and teaching the Bible. That's all we're thinking about and waiting for the Lord. The scriptures tell you in 2 Esdras 16, the Lord shall threaten. So the Lord going to take care of you devils, man. We ain't got to do nothing, man. We really, we doing what we doing, but we kicking back, man. We got all the popcorn and everything. Basically, we about to watch the Most High's work, man. And you're gonna put that work in, man. All right? You're going to get that work. But it says during this backlash, pardon me. During the backlash, the corrupt Biden regime will roll out false flag events that are designed to permanently destroy the Bill of Rights, take away citizens' firearms, right, which now they making more and more gun laws. So, of course, you're going to see more and more shootings, more random shootings, more mall shootings, schools, with schools out, but daycares, churches, right, because this is what they're aiming to do. That's you can see it. Enforce mandatory Venus flytrap shots at gunpoint nationwide. So, and a lot of people think, oh, well, that's absurd. It's not going to be that crazy or whatever. Okay. All right. We've been telling you. So now you got this chick over here. What's her name? Kim Janey. She's speaking on certain things. And this is another thing. Because when you read the article, she's basically trying to ride the fence. Because a lot of people are getting fed up over this whole. Because why? Everybody's life has been changed. Life is not going to go back the same. And that's why these other nations, that's why I said a nationwide, because they're fucking up these other nations, their economy and their way of living as well. So I'm going to read on in this a little bit just to show you the divide too. It said Democrat Boston Mayor Kim Janey has broken with many in her party by blasting Venus mandates, right? Which you got a lot of people that's in there. And I believe I said it in another show, but a lot of these people in the Congress, they're not with it. They're riding it out as far as they could ride it. But now Esau is putting the clamps on people, so you ain't going to be able to ride the fence. And it's going to come down to the point of either you got faith in the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, especially if you're an Israelite, or you don't. All right? But it said, including those introduced this week in New York City by Bill de Blasio. Yeah, that demon, that devil. It says, during an interview with the local news station, News Center 5, the mayor was asked, and she's the mayor of Boston, the mayor was asked about the recent announcement that proof of V-shots will be required in New York City in places such as gyms and bars. Janey compared the requirement to show proof of it to slavery, the Jim Crow era, and even the birthism movement with them questioning the president's birth certificate, that they're born here. But anyway, she said she compared it to slavery. Now you got a lot of these people, and she wasn't too far-fetched. She wasn't off. You could compare it to slavery. These are the beginning of the stages. But when you read on, you got a lot of these people that were sitting there talking shit or knocking it, saying like it's absurd. But now when you go and read the scriptures again in the prophecy, okay, let's see, book of 2 Esdras 16 and So you start about no, not 16. I want 15 first. Salakia. I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 7. Second Esdras 15 and 7. Because now you had that Mary from Boston. She's saying that what they're doing with these mandates is similar to the Jim Crow era. Basically, when Jake, how they were separating Jakes and basically you were property of which is still property of the state. All right, but you was property of the Southern crackers back then, the Southern Edomites, and then the emancipation that came in, Emancipation and Proclamation, which just transferred you from being slaves of these private, personal, sovereign Southern Edomites into basically being property of the government. So that's why you stand on these civil rights and all this stuff, right? But now she's saying that she's comparing these mandates to those times, and even when Jake was when they let Jakes go. When the state basically took over and they had the plantation owners had to let Jake go, they would stop Jake in certain places, and basically that's when the lynchings really started. All right, but anyway, I'm going into a bunch of different other things. Salakia. This is 2 Esdras 15 and 7. It says, "Therefore, saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more, as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit." All right, so this is the Lord saying this, man. All right, it said, basically meaning that's why you see these judgments happening. When the Lord starts to speak, that's the judgments that happen, the earthquakes, the fires that break out, buildings collapsing and everything. All right, that's the Most High's judgment. It says, "Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves in." Because why? It's in the power of their hand to do so. That's why they're sitting there pushing these mandates, and it's going to be like by any means necessary. So don't be surprised if this lockdown comes sooner than you expect. Some people think that's going to be in September. Oh, it'll come even before then, But it says, "Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." And that's why we got to continually pray to the Most High to deliver us, man. All right, to get up out of here, man. And I'm sure you other brothers that that believing brothers, y'all tired as hell of this fucking place, man. All right, and imagine if the men of the Lord that's older than us, man, the elder apostles, and imagine how tired they gotta be, man. So we gotta continually complain to the Most High to get us out of here, and the Lord is gonna come, because look at how this devil was acting. All right, but now let me read back a little more in this article. All right. So this is what she went into a little thing. There's a long history in this country of people needing to show their papers. She said during slavery, post-slavery, which is true. Jake, even to this day, Jake's the main people, and they just did a survey, or they released statistics showing that so-called minorities are the main people that get pulled over. Just recently, you started seeing Edomites getting pulled over too, because why? They switched the gear. They said, all right, fuck everybody now. But for the most part, it was fuck the Negroes and Latinos and Native American Indians, because they knew that we're the Israelites. So that's why they doing this, you see? But it said there's a long history in this country of people needing to show their papers. It said during slavery, post-slavery, as recent as what immigrant population has to go through here. Right, and ICE was only targeting what? The Northern Kingdom. They weren't targeting these other heathens from India, the motherfuckers that can't speak a lick of English. They don't even look like they belong here. They look like they belong in a damn a swamp somewhere in India, with their purple and orange teeth. But anyway, they didn't roll on them. They was primarily rolling on the Northern Kingdom. And some of Benjamin got caught up into that too. All right. But it says, we heard Trump, with that bullshit. And the point she brought out, she said, "We want to make sure that we're not doing anything that would further create a barrier for residents of Boston or disproportionately impact blacks, indigenous, or people of color communities." Because which is what? The Israelites. You see? But you gotta come out and say this, but that's the Most High ain't dealing with her anyway, but she's making a valid point. And when you, and this is why was Apostle Gabar and the brother from Mississippi did the video about us being put to shame and all this and that is coming. Because why? When you speak the truth, they mock you. They make you the butt of the jokes. They make you the target. You're the enemy. You become the boogeyman. You become the worst thing since, Bin Laden, right? Remember all that hate they have for Bin Laden? Well, they're going to have even more hate for us. And that's because of what? The spirit of Yahweh Shai that's in us, right? So, let me see. So she also touched on another criticism that's been used by other, so now this is a chick that responded to her, right? What's this lady? She's a counselor in Boston. You see her name, Andrea Campbell. She said, when we are combating a deadly virus, and she, I ain't gonna say what I want to say, but who she be sucking off. See, these nigga women, they got that Gardenian pact with the devil, but now that pact is being broken. Now the Most High is coming and visiting them, man. Here it is. I mean, it's sister, she ain't saying nothing that's wrong, Salakia, right? She ain't saying nothing that's wrong. She's trying to speak up for Jake because it is a attack on Jake. But then you got this chick coming talking shit. It says, when we are combating a deadly virus in the V shots hesitancy, and it's the reason why people are hesitant, man. All right, people got eyes and ears, man. People see people. That is had the guy on the other day. He said, "Look, man, this is my friend. He went and got it. And then I went to his apartment and he was dead." And there's tons of people that they blocking in the media that have the same account of them dying or getting the palsy and Bell's palsy and all that shit. So it says this kind of rhetoric is dangerous. So this, you can see the other article how this is going to create that more protests and rioting and the military getting more and more involved. All right. It says showing proof of your V shot is not slavery or birthism. We are too close to give ground to the CV. Science is science. This is what she said. Science is science. It's pretty simple. Wax up and mask up. Now the scriptures tell you about the science falsely so-called. You see? And then they tell you about the matter of fact, because she's talking about science. What science she's talking about? Science, which really means knowledge. She's speaking about the knowledge of the so-called white man, which in Job it explains it. Let me see if I can pull it real quick. Job 13 and 4. I was saying 14. But Job 13 and 4, it says, but ye are forgers of lies. See, it's in the scriptures. This is in the Bible. Open the Bible and read Job 13 and 4. It'll tell you about these crackers and sitting there talking about science is science. This is what the Lord said. I'm not going to believe no old snaggletooth, rock-faced black bitch. I'm going to believe what's written in the Holy Bible of the scriptures. I'm going to put my faith in what the Most High said. And that's why these women ain't supposed to be fucking talking anyway, man. They say some stupid shit. All right? But it said, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. You see? But yet they're going to sit there and choose to listen to them over the Most High. All right? Then you had this nigga, Jay Bailey. No. Mandating is nothing like slavery. Nothing. Right? He said you can't compare it to slave papers. You see? And then you see this other one. It says, you see the acting mayor, she doubled down with the mandates of the slavery. So showing you, and then she comes back and she tries to ride the fence, like saying, no, well, I believe some people, but basically the choice and all that other stuff. But you can't ride the fence with this devil, man. All right. And so y'all better be on the right side of things. That's what we hope. We hope to fall on the right side of things with the Heavenly Father. So that's why we continue to do the things we do and try our best to please the Most High at every given moment, because we know that there's no righteousness of us. We all fall short of the glory. We sin, not even knowing that you sin sometimes, and we're in the flesh, the sinful flesh, working on the Sabbath, whatever, not that you try or want to do it, but we in hell. You got to do what you got to do. You understand? So that's why we're hoping that Yahweh Shai save us, man. We're not perfect. All right. We're perfect in the knowledge and wisdom and understanding of the Father, which could lead to our salvation if we endure to the end. So now, verse 9, it says, And therefore, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Because why? They spilt all kind of blood over here, establishing this country. Even to this day, you know, and they ain't done. It might be certain brothers they might straight up put to death. But the Lord said He's going to avenge all the innocent blood. All right? Behold, my people was led as a flock to the slaughter. That sounds like what was happening in slavery, man. They was leading niggas to the gallows or to the trees to hang them, to lynch them. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Now, it tell you in Revelations, the 11th chapter, America is spiritually Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt, which is America, with plagues. That's why you do have, there's all kind of viruses and everything that, yeah, they're man-made and coming from the laboratory, but the Most High allowed this devil to do that. All right? It said, as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And the scriptures tell you about America, this whole land that we're in right now here in America, in whatever state, city, town that you're in, it's all going to be wiped away by the thermonuclear destruction that the Lord is going to cause to happen. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. You see? So that goes to tell you what's coming, man. But anyway, I'm going to end it right there. You know, I just want to go into that article a bit. I found it interesting that we've been talking about these things, and now they're showing you that they're getting ready to, you know, people are going to go crazy because people are mixed up and some people trying to ride the fence. And then you got the other people that's sitting there condemning people for not wanting to, you know, they don't want to put stuff into their body. That's like you forcing somebody to get a tattoo or something. Now, I don't want no goddamn tattoo. They mad because, you know, you strong enough to not follow trends, because most of these people only got tattoos because they feel like they left out. Oh, everybody else got one, I better get one. You know? Simple, stupid ass niggas, man. You know, and I ain't talking about brothers who, you know, look, we always simple as hell. You know, and the same thing applied to us when we was worthy of death. I was worthy of death before in this truth. But now the Lord resurrected us to a lively hope. Okay? And at the end of the day, you know, there's no excuse. Because this word, this truth, we're in a time where this truth is out there. So there's no excuse. If we would have heard this word and not took heed, then we would have been worthy of the same judgment. But the Spirit of the Lord got on us to take heed. All right? So, but with that, give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I say shalom to you, sincere Akim. Shalom.